What is up, guys? I'm back with another Dark Magician video today. This video will be kind of different as I get a lot of comments asking me how can I replace this card, how can I replace that card, how can I budget my Dark Magician deck. So basically this video will be how to budget your deck, your thought process behind it, and all the different cards you can use. We are gonna start with the main deck, and there's gonna be a few cards that I will tell you that are hard to cut or are very easy to cut or like are the first things you should craft. And we're gonna start off with Dark Magician. I'm going to be honest with you guys, you need two of these. You're playing a Dark Magician deck. You cannot cut Dark Magician in a Dark Magician deck. So we're moving on for Dark Magician. You only need two. You don't need three, you need two. So that's completely fine. Let's head on to the next card. So basically, Magician's Soul. This is probably, together with Soul Servant, the strongest card in your deck. So if you ask me, can I cut this card or what's the substitute for Magician's Soul? It's very, very hard because this is what the deck relies upon. To summon your Dark Magician or to remove skill drain. Like, this is a very solid card, and I would say this is a non-replaceable card. But for example, if you're running two, the deck will still be playable, but it just will be less consistent. So it is fine if you're running two, but I would recommend you really need three of your Magician Souls. Then we're going into the Maxi. This is probably one of the best cards in the game right now. And the thing with this card is, I hear a lot of people say I only have one Maxi or I only have two, and I'm replacing it. So let me explain to you guys how you can replace this card. So as you can see, I'm gonna move myself again. Right here, there we go. As you can see, these are all my cook cards. I put them in my bookmark so I know which options I have to cook them. Now, look at all these cards. I'm gonna click on them really fast so you can pause the video to see if you have them. And the thing is with these cards, they can all be used in every deck. So the thing is with these cards, for example, I have three Maxis. There are three hand traps, and they are meant to either deter my opponent from special summoning on their turn, or it is, if they special summon, if they do choose to do that, I will be getting all the rewards from it by drawing cards. Now, some of you guys might have a lucky Effect Veiler, or might have the two Psy Frame Gear Gammas. For example, if you only have one Maxi, or you have two, or you only have one Ash Blossom, or you only have two, you can replace them with cards like Skullmeister, Effect Veilers, Impermanences, what else? Droll and Lockbird, Psy Frame Gears. Is there any other card you can do as hand trap? Yes, the Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. I might even considering Forbidden Droplet would even be okay, I think. Yeah, these would do for the hand traps. So look at this list. I just clicked on all, so you can just pause the video and look at the list. If you have any of the other cook cards, you can put them in instead of the Maxi. Is it gonna be better? No. But will it be decent? Sure. Like a budget deck, if you can navigate it well, is very capable of hitting plat 5. That's just my opinion. If you're running a budget deck, it can hit plat 5, because as soon as you get into plat, this is where people are actually running like the best possible versions of decks, and then it's when it's getting harder. But as far as I can tell, this is completely fine. Then we're moving on. Dark Magician Girl, you're playing a Dark Magician deck. I would recommend playing Dark Magician Girl. You don't have to necessarily, to be honest, but it does help because I'm running like a bond between teacher and student as well, and Dark Burning Magic. I would just recommend this card because it also helps with the draw. For sure, you can replace it with something, but I really don't like it. I really like Dark Magician Girl. Then you also have the Apprentice Illusion Magician. So this card, in my opinion, is definitely not a must at all. This card is, don't get me wrong, this card is good to help you and break, but this definitely is not a must. So basically, you can replace it with just in general good cards. So for example, you're running a third Torrential Tribute, a second Solemn Judgment, a Solemn Strike, a Dark Ruler no more. Maybe, like, I wouldn't recommend Lightning Storm because this deck usually always has something on the field. So yeah, this card is definitely replaceable. I don't necessarily have a card that you have to put in instead of it because it's not that important in my opinion. Is it good? Yes. Is it absolutely essential? No. Same with Oracle Mahad. I like the card a lot because it gives you other special summon options. For example, you can special summon a Dark Magician, and then with the Soul Servant, you can actually lay on top of your deck the Oracle Mahad. Then you can draw it. It special summons. You can use your Ebon Illusion Magician, then remove one of the materials, special summon Dark Magician from your deck. Like, I want to have this combo as part of my arsenal. That's why I'm running Mahad, but it's definitely not necessary at all, and you can just change it by adding just a good card, like one of the cards I just mentioned. Then we're gonna have actually I'm gonna do these cards together. We have the 3 Upstart Goblins, we have the Magicalized Fusion, and we're gonna have the Verte Anaconda. For sure this is expensive. I waited a long time with crafting these because I wasn't sure. And especially with the Verte Anaconda, this is just very strong. But what you could be doing... So, what happens if you don't have Verte Anaconda and you don't have the Upstart Goblins, what you can do is something like this. You can add, and this is not better. Don't get me wrong, this is a lot worse. But what you can do is... You can, for example, add 2 Eyes. Remove the Magicalized Fusion, and remove the Verte Anaconda, and I will be talking about the extra deck later. So the thing is, if you don't have Verte Anaconda, the Magicalized Fusion is basically next to useless because you cannot search it. So the same goes for Eye of Timaeus, but it's just a better card in general if you have it just single in your hand, because if you summon a Dark Magician, you can actually use this card immediately. This card is more meant to go into combos like I showed in my last video, where I explained all the different combos on Dark Magician, and then you can just summon a Quintet Magician with it. So basically, the Verte Anaconda, Quintet Magician, Magicalized Fusion, they are all part of one combo. If you don't have all these cards, I would recommend just using the Eye of Timaeus if you have that option, of course, because it's also super rare. But I just want to give you guys a broader thought process about the deck, and it definitely is not better than what I'm running, otherwise I would be running it, but you can run it instead of it, and it will get you to plat 5 because it got me to plat 5. So I'm just gonna remove these again. As for the Upstart Goblins, it is really hard to find a card that's as good as this one, but I would recommend, if you don't have 3 of these, at least try to run as many as possible. But you can always add just another good card in general, which are, for example, Impermanences, Dark Ruler no more, a third Torrential Tribute, where were you? Solemn Strike, stuff like this. But don't get me wrong, it is really strong, and you don't want to underestimate how powerful this card is in this deck. Then, I feel like Magician's Salvation is really good, but if you don't have the card and you don't have any super rare essence, you can actually just play a third Eternal Soul. I wouldn't recommend it, but if you don't have it, you just play a third Eternal Soul. Then you're gonna play your 2 circles. You can play 1, which is fine, but I would recommend 2, and I don't recommend you running 3. You don't need 3 in your deck. It's just too bricky. You're gonna end up with 2 circles on one board just to get a draw in, or like try to get a draw in. It's not worth it in my opinion. But if you for example have 3 circles and you're missing an Upstart Goblin, you can add a third circle to add in more draw theoretically. Then this is a rare, so no excuse. Just Dark Burning attack with Dark Magician Girl. That's completely great. Then Called by the Grave. Yeah, this is just a really, really, really good card to make sure your combos get off, and also you can cook your opponent's Ash Blossom and Maxi. I wouldn't necessarily know a good replacement for it because it's a very niche card. But like I said, you can add things like Skullmeister and Infinite Impermanences if you don't have it, but they are real. Like, it is so hard for me to say this, that you can replace them because they're so good and they're so important, because so many times you can actually get off your combo, and without them you would have straight up lost the game. And even against decks like Tri-Brigade and Eldlik, which are the two strongest decks right now, you need this to banish their Eldlik the Golden Lord, or to like banish their Nerval from their grave with the Tri-Brigade, or even their Shrek, so they can't go into their combo. It is actually so important. And even against Drytron, third strongest deck, or maybe the second even, I don't even know, you have to banish their Ava from the grave, so they can't get any more fairies to their hand. So this is a very, very, very important card in so many matchups, and it helps in against so many things. So yeah, this card is, I have to say, this card is really hard to cut. But if you have to cut it, you can add them. You can replace them with like one of these cards, like just strong cards in general, like Solemn Strike, Solemn Judgment, Impermanences, Effect Veilers, Dark Ruler No More, stuff like this. Then, 3 Soul Servants, I wouldn't recommend cutting any of these. These are just core, just like the Magician's Soul. You can run 2, obviously, but it's not going to be optimal. You're going to be less consistent. Then a Secrets of Dark Magic, which is absolutely fine because it's a normal. This is also normal. This is part of a bundle deal, so I don't know if you guys know this, but you can buy bundle deals, and then you get a Lightning Storm, an Ash Blossom, and a Solemn Judgment. So this is actually, yeah, part of the bundle deal, so I'm expecting that you guys have this. Otherwise, I would just add a 3rd Torrential Tribute, probably. Then we have the 3 Skill Drains. Now, I actually have really good replacements for these. So, don't get me wrong, they're way worse. They're way worse than Skill Drain. But they are replacements for sure. So the first thing I would replace this super rare with are 3 Impermanences. But there's an ultra rare. So I'm assuming if you don't have the 3 super rares, you're not going to have the 3 ultra rares. So we're going to go over to the first card I played in this deck. And that's going to be Book of Moon. This is a rare. In Duel Links, this is actually an ultra rare because this card is actually really, really solid. Like, it's not weak at all. But it is definitely weaker than an Impermanence or a Skill Drain. But if you don't have the Skill Drains and you don't have the Impermanences, you're just going to run 3 Book of Moons. Basically, this is a rule of thumb. If you're missing cards in your budget deck, just put in 3 Book of Moons to cook your opponent. Like, it's a very strong card. It's very overlooked because it's a rare. And I'm sure if it was an ultra rare, people would actually start using it more. But this is a very strong card, and it was used in Duel Links a lot. Very underrated. And definitely a very, very good free-to-play use. Same goes for Forbidden Chalice. This is also a rare. Basically what this does is target one face-up monster on the field until the end of this turn it gains 400 attack, but its effects are negated. So if he summons a 500 attack monster and he wants to go into his search for his fusion, or like for example Drytron stuff, they summon their 500 attack monster or like 200 attack monster, you give it 400 attacks, boo-hoo, who cares? They're not going to have their effect. That's the whole point. So what you can actually do is run 3 Book of Moons and 3 Forbidden Chalices if you're missing cards like Skill Drain, if you're missing cards like, for example, Call by the Grave, Upstart Goblins. Like, these cards in general are just really good free-to-play cards, and they're going to get you as far as it will be allowed, because of course if you're going against a refined deck like this, I will be beating you most of the time, but definitely you will be strong enough to hit plat 5 in my opinion. Then of course the 2 Eternal Souls, no replacement. You might be running 3 if you don't have the Magician's Salvation, which I don't recommend, but still you can do it. Then going into the extra deck, well, the thing is, the extra deck is very versatile. Like, you can win games without using the extra deck. Like, I've won a lot of games without using the extra deck. I recommend if you are not running Magicalized Fusion and Pre-Planned Anaconda, then I would definitely not be running the Quintet Magician. That's my personal opinion. Oh, jij dacht, hij is aan het opnemen, ik hoor hem opnemen, ik kom nog steeds binnen. Je hoorde me letterlijk praten. Ja. Ja. Dat kwam je vragen.
Nee, ik wil even zeggen dankjewel voor voor de maaimachine en zo. Ik kwam je gewoon even stalken.
Oh my goodness, mom. Okay, mom, love you. Okay, sorry for that. My mom walked in. So basically, where was I? With the extra deck, you don't need a lot of the cards in the extra deck if you don't want to. For example, okay, I'm gonna give you guys a quick tip. And veterans of my channel already know this, but Zeus and Access Code Talker are pretty much used in most decks. Same goes for Blacklist Soldier, Soldier of Chaos, and Verta Anaconda. But let's say you don't have any ultra rare essence and you don't want to be crafting these cards, even though they're ran in every single deck, right? I play Zeus every 10 games and I play Access Code Talker every 5 games. So this deck doesn't need them. Does it help them? For sure. And if you're not running Access Code Talker, there's no point in running Selene as well, because Selene is basically meant to link summon 3, special summon effect monster from your grave, and then you can go into Access Code Talker. That's basically the point of Selene. Of course, you can also just resummon Dark Magician and banish something, but if you don't have Access Code Talker, you might as well not have Selene. And if you don't have Zeus, that's fine, because I only use Zeus every 10 games. But still, it's just a very strong card to have in every single deck. Same with Blacklisted Soldier, Soldier of Chaos. This is just a boss monster. Like, this is just a monster that you can summon that is just hard for your opponent to deal with. For example, I use this a lot against Eldlik, because what you can do is make this a 4500 beater and they just can't destroy it. They can't swing over it and they can't destroy it with card effects. So it is very strong. But you can also use cards like Boral Dragon, for example. Just a strong Link 3 or Link 4 monster that you can use as boss monsters. That's basically what it's meant for. Same with Link Karibo. It is just meant to protect your Magician's Souls. For example, if you special summon Dark Magician's Soul to the field, what you can do is link it away with your Link Karibo, and it will protect one of your monsters. And when this is in the grave, you can also just special summon it back from the grave by linking away one of your 1-star cards. Does this get used a lot? No, because usually when I'm special summoning a Magician's Soul, I'm going into Verte Anaconda. But if you don't have Verte Anaconda, for sure this is decent. So, again, not a must. Is it strong? Yes. Do I use it every game? Definitely not. Cards that are very hard to cut are going to be the Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight, the Dark Magicians, Ebon Illusion Magician, Link Spider, and Imduk. I might even say Artemis, but not sure if that's a must. It just definitely is very good because you need a way to get your rod to the graveyard. For example, if you're going first, you put your rod on the field, you search something, you put Artemis, you link Artemis for your your Magician's Rod. It goes to the grave, and then when you activate a spell or trap on your turn, you can actually use the Rod's effect from the grave, add it back to your hand by tributing one of your Spellcaster monsters, which is going to be the Artemis, and then you can resummon your Dark Magician Rod the next turn, which is very helpful. I do this all the time, but it's definitely not a must. So what I would say for the extra deck is, if you're running the Magicalized Fusion and Verte Anaconda combo, you need Quintet Magician. If you don't have them, you're not gonna run the Magicalized Fusion combo. You're gonna run the Eye of Timaeus, and you're gonna run the discard. You're gonna run the Dark Magicians. You're gonna run Ebon Illusion Magician. I think these cards are the must-haves, and the rest are just optional. So I don't have any other replacements for it. What you can do is, for example, add another Illusion Magician or whatever, or just add some strong extra deck cards that you find fit. It's very hard for me to say which ones that will be. Maybe even an Epelesia, if you have it. That's also an ultra rare, of course, but I don't know which cards you guys own and which cards you don't own. So basically, I just wanted to give you guys this information about the deck. The full optimized deck list will obviously be in the description, but I just wanted to give you my thought process as of how I budget my Dark Magician deck. I will be doing this for Red Eyes pretty soon as well, so you guys have some information about that. But it is definitely, don't get me wrong, a budget deck is definitely going to be way weaker than this one, because this is plat 1 worthy, and the budget deck would probably most likely be plat 5 worthy, depending on which cards you all cut. So far you guys know which ultra rares to craft, which ultra rares are not very necessary. And if you guys have any more questions about this, leave them in the comments. I will be replying to all of those. Also, if you're reading the comments, help each other out with definitely with some other alt cards that you can use, and some replacements for other cards if people don't have them. So yeah, I hope this video helped you guys out. This is a different video from what I usually do, but I hope it helped you out. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.